It is Sunday, November 15th, 2020, and welcome to the iPhoneography Podcast. Hello, everyone. This is a special edition, I would say, of the iPhoneography Podcast. I am joined by my co-host, Dave Podner. Hello, Dave.
Hey, Greg. How's it going?
Not too bad. And we have a guest on with us tonight who's no stranger to the airwaves. A lot of you probably know him from Tiny Shutter. Matt Hoffman. How you doing, bud?
I'm doing great, Greg. Thanks for having me.
Oh, no problem. So tonight we are going to be talking about the iPhone 12 Pro Max, which Matt, you and I both have one. Dave didn't upgrade this year, but I'm sure he's going to have some questions about them. And we will just go ahead and get going. I've got the blue one, the Pacific Blue. Matt, which one did you get again?
I went with graphite.
You went the graphite, okay. That
I'm
was
boring.
My second choice. I think they're all nice, except the gold is a little too glittery. But I think they're all really sharp devices, and I am just so tickled to have this thing now. It's crazy. But let's get your let's get some first impressions from you on yours. Like, I know we've only had it for a couple of days or so, but what are you thinking so far?
So far, absolutely love it. The size of it is pretty much really what I wanted. Wanted to get back to the bigger form factor and just have all that screen. And actually, just to touch on the screen is fantastic. I because I got the got this or whatever, I got the free trial of Apple TV Plus.
Oh yeah.
And so I was watching a show on that and just like really noticing the dynamic range and just how awesome everything looks on this screen. I'm like, man, I think I'd almost rather watch stuff on the phone than on my TVs.
I know, right? Like, I've watched Greyhound twice on my TV, but I want to see it on the phone now. It's free with Apple TV Plus, so why not, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Suddenly I have a lot of stuff to watch, and I'm very excited. But yeah, I mean, it's really, really nice. I feel like it kind of took me a little while to like get everything set up or whatever. But I once I did, and I was out yesterday with my family for a bit, and we were kind of wandering around this town along the Ohio River, and I was taking some pictures while we were doing that, and just I think it's going to be a little bit before the novelty wears off of like having the 3 cameras, because I stepped up from an iPhone 10, which just had the 2 cameras, and it's just really convenient to be able to go from wide to zoom, telephoto. And man, that 2.5 times zoom on the telephoto, that is fantastic. I'm in love.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And it's that extra. What is the Pro? It's 58.
Yeah. The Pro actually has the same zoom as the 10. So the non-Max Pro has the same zoom that the 10, and it's a 2x. So, right. And I'm kind of honestly, if you would have said, just thinking about it without your reaction, I was like, well, instead of 2, you get 2.5. You're thinking it mentally doesn't sound that much of a difference. You're not going right from 2 to, like, you see some of the Android phones out there with the periscope lenses that do like 5x optical. And that would be like, wow. But to hear that little, I don't want to say little, but that 2 to 2.5 makes that much of a difference.
Yeah. And it really does. And I know for me, like, I still feel like the iPhone 10 is no slouch at all. I mean, honestly, my iPhone 10 was working perfectly, and they're really, other than the fact that I just wanted to upgrade, there wasn't any other good reason to do that. um, but that being said, like seeing so let me back up. I remember when I got the iPhone 10. I think I was the only one of us on Tiny Shutter to get one at the time and do the upgrade kind of right away. And I remember being out one day and stopping at this like state park on my way home from work and like taking some pictures with it. And I had just gotten the phone like maybe the day before or something. And I took pictures with it, and they were just so crisp and so just sharp and contrasty and awesome. And I remember, sharing them with our little group, and Greg, you specifically commented about like just how sharp they were and just how amazingly awesome they looked. And I didn't even really do like any editing to them or anything. I got to say, the cameras on this blow the iPhone 10 out of the water. And I know a lot of that has to do with some of the other stuff that's going on, the deep fusion and the smart HDR and everything. And for some of you listening, if you have the iPhone, 11 or whatever, this isn't like new stuff, but holy cow, what a difference it makes. Like, I can't freaking believe it. Like, the smart HDR is apparent. I took some shots yesterday in this town that we were in that were definitely like high dynamic range kind of pictures, some deep shadows in like the alleys, but the sun was out and things were, pretty bright and stuff. And it handled everything really well. And just, I even seen in our, Tiny Shutter Facebook group some people commenting on like, not on my pictures, just pictures that they were taking, some other people that upgraded on the detail in the sky, like how it's able to retain detail, and the sky is blue and the clouds have a lot of contrast and detail and everything. And then part of the reason I wanted to take pictures like in this town yesterday is because it's like this gritty, grimy, like old steel mill type town, and there's just a lot of like dilapidated buildings and stuff. So it's got a lot of character, and the deep fusion like really brings that out. I mean, the details are just leaps and bounds over like what I was getting from the iPhone 10. So I'm super impressed, and I really can't wait to dive into like taking some, more low light pictures and see what night mode can do. And this thing's just awesome.
Yeah, like you sent us a photo of, it looks like the front of a church with these red doors up these steps, and the detail in it looks like a layer of like stone, kind of cement, sort of like it's kind of like the stuff you'd put around the foundation of a house. Like it's some kind of a coating that's been applied to these steps up to these red doors, and the detail that is present in those, the steps is just I'm speechless. It's blowing my bloody mind here.
Must say, I think just the texture. I'm assuming they look like they're really old.
That's the word I'm looking for. Yeah. Thank you, Dave.
Yeah, I'm assuming those are really old. I mean, the church, it looks very old. I'm assuming the steps are pretty old too. So that just could be wear and tear of old concrete steps, or do you think they're newer steps with like an anti-skid on them?
Yeah, I'm not real sure. I mean, it's just definitely like textured concrete, and textured obviously for grip. But but I mean, regardless of whether they're old or new, they really did have a lot of texture, and you definitely can see that texture very well in the photo.
Yeah, definitely. One of the things that I was really blown away by is the stabilization of that wide camera with that sensor shift. I took a walk up a little creek in the woods here in town at the local park, and I was using Spectre, and it was a dull day. It was, at times it was kind of drizzly, and I would just, there was a boardwalk, and I would lean on the railing of the boardwalk, just holding the phone up, and I would do like a 3-second exposure in Spectre, and just tack sharp. I'm coming off a 10S Max, which was pretty good, but this again is a very significant step up in quality, like in image quality, because of that sensor shift technology that they got in the wide camera. It's just unreal.
Yeah, and then couple that with the fact that you have a sensor in the 12 Pro Max that's, according to Apple, 47% larger.
Yeah.
And that plays a lot into it as well, and that's really going to help with the night mode, I think.
Yeah, night mode lights it up like daylight inside my house. Like, I was downstairs in the rec room, and right by the stairwell that leads to upstairs, and there was a light on in the hall upstairs, like by the landing. And it's not a very bright light, because we don't need a real bright light there. And I pointed the camera towards the corner where this this little planter or whatever is sitting, and I took a shot with night mode, and I think it set itself to something like 3 seconds or something, and it just lit it up like it was in the daylight. So then I turned off night mode and took another shot, and the difference is unbelievable. That night mode just lights it up so well, and I can't wait to play with that a little more too. Yeah, it's crazy. And the size, like I came from the 10S Max, so the size difference is, it's not that much wider, although it is a little bit wider, and it's maybe, like, I'm not sure what the specs are, but it's maybe 6 or 7 millimeters taller than the 10S Max. But looking at the screen, it's a significant jump there too, just because it's just huge. I mean, I put it in my back pocket, and the cameras are showing, like they're sticking out, looking back at people. So if I wanted to see if anybody's checking out my butt, I just turn the camera on and put it in my pocket and I go. So yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I was a little worried. Like, normally I don't, when I'm going to upgrade, I don't do it right away. Normally, and then I'll go to the, I don't know, whatever store. Sometimes I go to the Apple store, or sometimes I just go to the AT&T physical store and look at the phones and see, do I like the size and the way it feels and everything like that. But this one, I just, on Friday, a couple Fridays ago, when it was available to pre-order, I just pre-ordered it. I thought, screw it, I don't need to see it. But I looked at several size comparisons that had the iPhone in comparison, and just the regular 12 Pro is a decent amount bigger than the iPhone 10. And I was like, really hope I'm making a smart decision here. Maybe I should just get the Pro and not the Pro Max. But then I thought of all the things that you get in the Pro Max, the 2.5 times zoom, the bigger sensor, the optical
pixels.
image stabilization or the sensor shift stabilization, and I was like, oh no, I need to just get the max. And um, I just actually ordered another kind of more normal case for the phone today, so I should have that at some point next week. But right now, the case it's in is like a folio type case, which is a completely new thing for me to have. I've never had a leather folio case. It doesn't feel like obviously it's bigger, but it doesn't feel that bad in my pocket, really. Like I'm not.
Yeah.
I was worried that I was going to be bothered by it. Like, holy crap, this thing is like way too big in my pocket, or even
like
in my
Grandpa's
car.
wallet.
Like, yeah, like even in my car, like normally I would plug my phone in my center console, so then I could have like Apple CarPlay and whatnot. And I was worried that that the phone plus the part of the plug that or the cord that is not bendable, that might actually be too long to fit nicely in the center console, but fortunately it's not. So those were like my two concerns, and they're so far proving to not be a real issue. Now I just kind of have to play with some of the other accessories I already own. Like for instance, my tripod adapter does it open wide enough to hold this thing? I think it does, but I'm gonna find out probably tomorrow.
Well, Matt, is your adapter a smartphone adapter or iPhone adapter?
Well, it's not specifically for
okay. Well, I know that some adapters really push how they're for iPhones versus smartphone, because I know there's Android phones which are around the same size. So if it's like, a normal large smartphone adapter, it should fit fine then, I'm thinking.
Yeah, I think it will. I think I'm the one that I'm mostly using. I think I may have gotten before I even got the iPhone 10. I think I bought it for the 6S Plus.
Okay.
So it should be good. Or 6, I can't remember what I had before the 10. 6S Plus or 6 Plus.
It was the 6 Plus, I think. I think it was the 6 Plus. I got to try mine in my my tripod adapter too, because I don't even know if it's going to fit. I bought that tripod mount when I had my 6S, which was the smaller of the two offerings that year too. So, I mean, my 10S Max fits in it fine, so I'm sure it'll be okay. I certainly don't need to spend any more on it because I bought the phone obviously, and I got it right from Apple. Same as you, Matt. You ordered right on release day or whatever. My pre-order experience was really, really good. I went to the Apple Store app on my phone, and it didn't actually open up until about 4 minutes after 8 o'clock my time, which would have been 5 a.m. Pacific, which was when the pre-order went live. And I had it already pulled up from before, and then it's I was just pricing it out, whatever, and then it said, "Do you want us to remind you when it goes live?" Well, it never did remind me, but anyway, long story short, I went through the options of the phone, the color, the capacity, and bypass the Apple Care for now. You still got 45 days to decide. And
no, you get that much. Let's say you get that much. Great. We only get, I think US, you only get a month.
Oh, really? Oh, I thought they expanded it for everybody, but anyway, I don't know if I'm going to get it or not. I probably will. I should, I guess. But anyway, and then I hit pay or pay with Apple Pay, and it was done. Like I was done in less than a minute, and it went the first time, and I had no I heard the Pacific Blue was going to be the one that was hard to get, But I got to tell you, I've seen like I'll bet you half a dozen people that I know on social media. They're all getting the Pacific Blue, and they got it. It didn't seem to be that hard to get. So, but anyway, so cool. So I got the phone, and I always get the leather case from Apple to fit the phone. I find it's very durable. It looks good. It fits really well, the whole 9 yards. And that's the only case I'm getting this time. I'm not going to go out and get all these other cases like I have before. And then I got the 20-watt charging brick and the MagSafe.
I got that today.
The charging brick or the MagSafe?
Yeah, no, I don't care that much about the MagSafe stuff. I got the charging brick.
Yeah,
and it does charge quickly.
Before. Yeah, I haven't charged with it yet, but I did see a YouTube video where if you just plug it straight into the phone with the cord into the lightning port, it goes at the actual 20 watts or very close to it, and it charges. It's supposed to give you like a 50% charge in half an hour. And
I tried it out today, and it seemed really fast.
Yeah. So that's what I got anyway. That's the stuff that I got with it, and I'm still waiting for the MagSafe. It hasn't shipped yet, but I got the cord that came with it and the adapter. So
well, I mean, Dave, even without the MagSafe, you just get the slower wireless charging. If you have an old wireless charger thing, so that's not too bad then.
Yeah. Like I had a discussion with my coworkers about, they were saying, well, it's going to take a lot of people off. They don't come with a charger. And I thought, well, the chances are if you're getting an iPhone this year, you probably already have one. So more often than not, people are already going to have existing charging things at home. And I mean, case in point, I've got, I don't know how many laying around the house here. So it's a non-issue there.
Well, I would say the only difference this year is that the other side the plug is USB-C and not USB-A.
Yeah. Right. And the cord, like the charging cord that comes in the box is USB-C.
Right.
Lightning, like USB-C to Lightning. So, but chances are a lot of people will have a Lightning cable with a USB-A or whatever it is, with the small 5-watt charging brick from their past phones. The ones that are going to be upset are going to be the ones that are first-time iPhone buyers. So
possibly.
I mean,
well, like
it is what it is, and Apple's not budging on it. So,
like I said, I would be a little less. I understand financially why they did it. Also, why they didn't state it that way. They stated it, and also for environmental reasons. But how much money do you think they're saving on shipping? They can ship like twice the amount of phones per the same amount of volume.
Yeah.
So that makes a big difference. But if they and I think when you see a lot of people say, you realize next year there's no plug, or maybe 2 years there's no plug. 100% wireless charging.
That better not happen. Because if that happens, I can't use my CarPlay if that happens.
Yeah, because I know they're moving out wireless CarPlay, but not everyone has it on their car, and to update it, you may not be able to update it.
No, probably not. I think that's like more of a hardware thing than anything else.
Yeah. And people only update CarPlay.
That's where MagSafe will come in. You could plug the MagSafe adapter into the car and stick it to the back of the phone, and then you got CarPlay. Because all the car is looking for is that USB plug in the dash, right? And then once it gets that signal from the phone, it says, "Oh, okay, there's a phone. There's an iPhone there. Let's put CarPlay on."
Yeah, you would need some kind of dongle. You need a dongle. You need a dongle for your car.
No, just the.
Oh yeah, I'm saying
cord,
the Matt.
like
I'm guessing
the MagSafe will have a cord on it
right, but you
that
would
will
still
plug in.
like I said, I don't know I don't know about
here's the difference. No, here's the difference. It's USB-C. So yes, Dave, you're right. You have to get a freaking dongle.
And you gotta make sure. Anyway. And I don't know what the coding is behind the scenes because it's not an Apple device going into something else. It's got an Apple device going into a car, which may have who knows what as the back end. You know, who knows how the car people actually coded it in hard. So, I mean, Apple's been removing ports from everything for 20 years now. You know, going back to the iMac saying, hey, we have USB. No parallel, no serial, USB only.
Yeah, no Thunderbolt.
No anything. Boom. Back with the old Bondi Blue iMac.
Yeah.
You know, so, but now one thing I'm really, I mean, like you said about and it sounds like the stabilization is just really amazing. And I can see, because I've seen pictures of people who didn't use a tripod, but just braced the phone up against a solid object and was able to get, you know, a 30-second sky exposure.
Mm-hmm.
But I can see where that's where a tripod would cut. Like I saw one part. Now they were in Joshua Tree National Park in California, so you're talking darker than where most people can get. You know, we're talking a true dark sky, but they were able to pick up the Milky Way galaxy on their phone.
Yeah.
And, you know, that's the kind of stuff and like you said, Greg, when you were saying how the photos I'm seeing that a lot of people are posting, I'm assuming, and of course right now I'll say, if someone posts something online and unless it's obvious or they state, I'm assuming they're doing minimal editing. But the nighttime photos don't. Remember when Google first came out with their night mode?
Yeah, night sight.
Night sight, and it made like 10 o'clock at night look like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. It didn't make it look like a night shot that was well lit. It made it look, you know,
it turned night to day. Yeah,
exactly. But it looks like most of these shots are just a matter of, we're lighting this closer to what your eye can see with better dynamic range. And that's the one thing that, especially for this time of year, where I'm seeing people starting to put up, like I did today, outdoor Christmas decorations. And getting shots of that at night, where that's always hard because you have, you know, the bright decorations, you have the darks. Everything else is dark. You have the bright decorations where they tend to blow out the photo. You know, having that ability to do better at night, I can see where that would definitely come in handy this time of year.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to trying some of that out. In the city, it's a small city, but in the city I live in, they call it the Festival of Northern Lights, and it's a Christmas tree light display that goes from basically the center of town all the way to the south end of town in through this park, and you know, it's really something to see when it's really nice when there's a nice fresh fallen snow and, you know, it's all Christmassy and everything. So I'm looking forward to getting some shots of that. But when you mentioned stabilization, I've got an Osmo Mobile now that I don't think I'll be using, because the stabilization of the wide camera in this thing is just off the charts. I posted a video on Instagram and on Twitter, I think, of walking through this like a boardwalk, and I was just carrying the phone in my hand, and it looks like it was done on a gimbal. Like, it's just unbelievable. Have you tried the video yet, Matt?
No, not yet. I will, though. Soon.
Yeah, you're gonna be very, very pleasantly surprised at how well it works. You can't see the same for the telephoto or the ultra wide, but that wide camera, holy.
Meaning that you haven't used them yet, or you're not impressed with them?
Well, they don't have that sensor shift, right?
Oh, gotcha.
And
gotcha.
so
Yeah.
I haven't used them. No, that is true. So, but I don't expect it to be nearly as good as the wide camera, just for that reason.
Sure, that makes sense.
So I guess my gimbal will have some use.
There's definitely a lot to be excited about. That's for sure.
Now, let me ask you, before you got the camera or the phone, did you guys look at any of the reviews that were coming out?
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
I did
myself. I was watching the reviews for the for the 12 and for the 12 Pro that came out. Was it like 3 weeks or so before the Max?
Well, I'm talking about the Max, when the Max reviews came out, because just the difference between I forget. It wasn't The Verge, but it was another group. I think it may have been The Verge, saying how there was a huge difference between the Max and the Max and the non-Max Pro. But MK CD, Marquis Rowley, said basically it's not worth it. I don't see. He basically came out and said it's a nice phone. The battery's great. The size of the screen's great. But from his eyes, he couldn't see the difference between the two, between the Pro and the Pro Max.
He's not a photographer, though.
Yeah, there's something wrong with him.
Well, no, that's the weird thing. He even came out and said afterwards, he said, I'm seeing other people see with their photos a huge difference. I don't see why I can't, he's like, he even came out and said, like, I'm not seeing a huge difference. Other people are seeing a huge difference. I don't understand why we're getting such different opinions on this. Because his was the first one I saw, and I was looking, I'm like, oh, okay, maybe I don't want to go for the Max, even though screen size would be nice because, and then I see other reviews like, oh my goodness, the Max is so much different than the Pro. It's so much better. It does so much greatness. And like, wow, that's the opposite ends are just kind of crazy.
Well, I think someone that's going to be able to tell us that will be Cielo de la Paz, because she couldn't wait for the Max, so she went and got the Pro, and then now she's got the Pro Max. Whether she kept the Pro or not, I don't know. But having used both, I'll be asking her what she thinks. Is there a significant difference? Excuse me. And we're going to have her on along with Jack Hollingsworth, hopefully, in a couple of weeks, or as soon as we can get them both to come on. And Matt, you're welcome to join us too if you want. And we're going to talk about our experiences with these new phones, and so that'll be interesting to see what she says about. Now, mind you, she is more video than she is photo. But it'll be interesting to see what she says about the differences between the two.
Yeah, definitely. Well, in a couple weeks' time, I will definitely have a whole lot more experience with this camera, and I do intend to put it through its paces a little bit more in actually the next couple of days here. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna have the opportunity to thoroughly explore what night mode can do. So I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah. I was thinking that this is a bad time of year to get these devices, but good time of year to check it out for night mode, because the days are obviously shorter up here in the Northern Hemisphere. So, okay. So any final thoughts, Matt?
Nothing super specific. No, I mean,
I know it's early.
I'm very
days.
happy. I'm not trying to. If someone's on the fence or whatever, I guess I'm not really trying to tell anybody what to do. I'm just letting you know that I'm very happy coming from a 10, a 10 that was in really perfect condition and really had no issues. I'm extremely happy with this upgrade, camera wise, and pretty much everything else as well. Everything seems super snappy and everything works really good. And, the size is great. The screen is great. But yeah, the cameras are out of control. And, now I'm just giddy with excitement for Apple to drop Pro Raw on us. And, yes. That's just gonna open up a whole new world for me, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I'm very excited for all those reasons, and I can add to that the battery life. The battery life is phenomenal on this thing. I could probably get days.
I'll give you that too. Yeah. Easily. I think I got it Friday, and it had whatever charge that it had when it came out of the box. It was like 3/4 of the way or whatever, and I don't think I plugged it in until today, and it didn't even need to be plugged in. I just wanted to try the 20-watt charger just to see like how fast it charged. And like normally I put my phone on the wireless charger like when I go to bed. And I remember like Friday night not putting it on because I know the battery does the smart charging stuff and whatnot, but I was like, I don't really need to put it on a charger. Like it doesn't need charge. And then I went all day yesterday, like shooting pictures with it, using, maps and stuff. And it's rocking and rolling, man.
Yeah, that's cool. Dave, any final thoughts or questions or anything?
No, like I said, the only negative I've seen post anywhere, outside of some people complaining about how the screen, the size and the weight, which is subjective depending on what you're used to and what you can put it in, are the lens flares for the video at night.
I've seen that too. I've actually experienced the lens flares. Already, but that was just because I had a bright light shining pretty much right at the camera lens. So honestly, I think it would have done that with like anything camera. Yeah, and I just waited. It was like a motion sensor light, and I just waited till it went out to take the picture. Wasn't really a big deal, but they definitely are prevalent, I guess. I don't know. I'll have to see if it really turns into a big deal as I keep shooting with it, but I don't think it's going to be like a deal breaker or anything.
Yeah, I haven't had a lot of bright sunlight here since I've got it to experience that in the daytime, and I haven't done any video with it at night. So, but yeah, I got a hectic work week coming up, but once that's over, I'll be off for a week and I will be trying it out, and I will probably have to charge it every night.
Right on.
So looking forward to it. So, okay, well, this is a pretty good, it gives people a pretty good idea of what our first impressions are. That's for sure. I can honestly say that, Matt, you and I are probably pretty happy with it. And, Dave, when you do upgrade, if it's even if it's next year, you could probably get a good deal on one of these. The carriers usually offer them. Like I think you can get the 11 Pro now at some carriers for $0 if you're if you go on a plan or something. I'm not sure, but now just hypothetically, Dave, would you get the bigger one with the big screen?
Yeah.
Or because you got the 10 as well, right?
Yeah, I have the 10, and Ruth has the 7 Plus.
Right.
So it would definitely be her camera that we were replacing.
Yeah.
Honestly, yeah. I saw. I know it's bigger than what I currently have, and that is kind of like I said. One thing I got to think about is just how in terms of walking around with it. But yeah, I probably would get the bigger one, to be honest, just because, and at least in the US only, I realize this, that it's only $100 difference. So that is something that Apple's really given a lot of steps where if you're looking at a new phone and you're looking, let's say you look, if you want the mini because it's small, and that's great. You know, some people want the smaller phone. They specifically say, I want a small phone that isn't just an old phone. I want new stuff, but just smaller. Go for your mini. But if you're starting to look at either the 12 or the 12 Pro or the 12 Pro Max, you'll go like, well, you know, if I only go $100 more, if I'm putting this on an installment anyway, that's only what, $5 to $7 a month. Well, hey, you know, if I'm going to Pro, the Max, that's only in there. That's not too much. It's like eating out one time a month. That's no big deal. So yeah, it's the step up thing. But yeah, I could definitely see going for the Max. I definitely see going for the Max, and I'm like you guys. I'm also excited for the Pro Raw, just because I see some people on the beta posting stuff, and I can see it as a really good step up for a lot of people who don't necessarily want to shoot in RAW, and then, like most people who shoot in RAW when you first start off, and I had the same thing. It's like, oh, that doesn't look great. Oh, you mean now I got to do extra work to make this photo actually look decent? I'm just going to go back to shooting regular because I don't want to put forth the work. Or, you know, I'm shooting 10 photos here or 15 photos here, and I don't want to have to do this for each and every photo. Where if Apple can automate a lot of the manipulation, but keeping a lot of the details, which that's one thing that Apple's good at, you know, making it where it's not a feature, but we're going to give you results without giving you just a feature. Yeah.
And you had asked me in a text earlier that if I was on the beta, and I decided not to go on the beta with this one yet, and I may not. I may just leave it, leave it with the public releases and that. So, but boy, oh boy, it is tempting to try that Pro Raw just to see what it would be like. But anyway, I'll wait for it. I don't think it's going to be that long now. 14.3. The beta is there's probably going to be 5 more betas before the actual release. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. So Matt, tell everybody where they could find you.
All right, you could check me out on Instagram, Flickr, Twitter. Where else? I don't know. All kinds of places at M Hoffman Photo.
Alrighty, Dave. How about you?
You can find me on Instagram and Twitter as Prof Pod. For some strange reason, still yelly. I'm still a little yelly on Twitter, but not as much as I used to be. And again, mostly photography on the Instagram, and on the Facebook iPhoneography group is Dave Podner.
All right. And you can find me on Instagram at Macmillan Photo, on Twitter, Macmillan_photo. And you can catch this podcast. We're going to try to do it bi-weekly, and we missed last week. So we're probably going to record again next week. So it'll be too close together here. But it's basically, if you caught the last episode of Tiny Shutter, the torch has been passed over this way, and again, this was rebranded as the iPhoneography podcast. It used to be the Artful iPhoneography Interviews, and you can go to the website at iPhoneography.ca. That's where you'll see all the episodes from the previous show and currently this one. And let's see. Well, I might as well plug the community too. You can go to artfulipc.club, and it's on MeWe. But there's still people joining. So I don't know how many people we have now offhand, but I'm still getting new people join. I had a couple today actually just join the community. So it's for like-minded individuals who shoot with an iPhone and want to share their work. And it's the same type of thing as the iPhoneography Tiny Shutter iPhoneography group on Facebook, and just check them out if you haven't already, and see what everybody's up to. And I guess we will see you on the next one. Thanks again, Matt, for coming on. I really appreciate it. Always enjoy your insight. And
yeah, thanks for having me.
To have you on again sometime. Yeah. And thanks, Dave. I will see you in probably just a little over a week.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Have a good night, guys.
Have a good one.
Bye-bye.